What's up, pumpkin heads? It's Mike in Wisconsin. Hey, you want to learn how to set up a pumpkin on a scale? We got one right back there. See that? I'll show you how to do that. I've done it before. 2,500, 2,200 pounds on a scale. Who knows what this one will be, but I'll show you how to get one set up in case you want to do it. You're watching Moby Mike Pumpkins on YouTube. Here is my absolute mess of the scale. I got the scale in that old waterproof enclosure for a street light. That's the topper on there. I got some other stuff on there. Anyway, we got to clear this off, plug this in, just make sure it reads right, because we're going to need to slide this thing under. So let's do that, and I'll jump on there, and I should weigh about 250 or so, maybe 260. I don't know. Had a couple extra cheeseburgers, man. Leave me alone. All right, if you can see that, it's about 10.5 pounds. So, and anyway, I should weigh about 255. And we'll step on there. And we got almost 265. So it should be pretty good. Good to go. I mean, no one touched the calibration on it, so should be good to go. All right, so if I remember right, that X and the permanent marker, that's where we want the center of the baby pumpkin at. And then that should correlate. This is the topper that makes it 5 foot by 5 foot. That should correlate to that topper. A little bit of cutout for the stem, and we should be good. So there's other marks on there. I don't know what that is. Maybe measurement from the other way, but that should be the one, because I remember crossing that out because I didn't get my left to right. Right, so that should be the one. So anyway, we should be good to go on this scale. We'll have to build the other scale. Anyway, we got the one scale. We know this one's calibrated. This scale, my 2261 grew on it. John Barlow's 2114 grew on it the following year. And then the year after that, I grew the 2520 on it. And last year, the scale had off. We should have put it over on Tom's pumpkin, because he grew a 2,000 pounder. And that would have been 4 2,000 pound pumpkins on a scale, on this scale. So anyway, it's a lucky scale. No, you can't rent it. So, well, you might be able to on the off year. We'll see. All right, we got the scale pulled out of the shed, the topper. I got a couple boards. That one I've definitely used on the scale before twice. This board, I don't know, doesn't have any marks on it. It's a little shorter, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And then, so we pollinated a backup on this plant. And I think I'm going to cut that vine off so we can start getting the scale ready. Like, the pumpkin's good. I don't know what we're waiting for. It's just easier to do when they're smaller. So I'm going to cut that like 3-4 feet of vine off there. But what I'm going to do is, over in my little sunflower patch over there, I'm going to try and transplant it. It'll be basically a clone of this pumpkin, pollinated by the same 2365 behind it. So if this pumpkin ends up being something awesome, and I can get this to reroot, this clone, essentially get basically double the seeds. I don't know if you call that a sib, or what do you call that? Clone brother? I don't know. So anyway, we're going to cut that off, transplant it, and then what we'll do is we'll get the boards in place. We'll have to measure everything out. We'll get them in place and kind of stake down. And then we'll try and lift the scale. We'll lift the scale over the fence with the tractor. We'll get it on the boards. We'll get it close. And then I'll need another hand, where I'll need someone to like kind of pry the scale forward. It's heavy. You can either have 2 guys lift it and scooch it, or one guy back there. The last time we did it, we had one guy with 2 fence posts on each side, and he just kind of levered it in place. So we'll get started on all this. All right. Okay, I got the pumpkin pretty much square. I want a nice straight line of the pumpkin. So now I'll measure each side. The legs should be approximately 4 feet apart. So 2 feet on each side. And then I got to measure the scale, how far up they need to go. Then we'll get the boards underneath there, underneath the vines. So then we can set the scale on there and work from there. So, all right, keep on moving. Okay, so we got our boards in place. We got tent stakes front and back. So when we slide the scale, it doesn't go forward, or if we set the scale on, the board doesn't rear up. So you can see that one's in the plant a little ways. So what I'm going to do, I believe, is I know in the future which leaves are all going to be gone. Like that leaf's going to be gone, that one's going to be gone, that one's going to be gone. Probably that one. I'm just going to go ahead and get them out of here right away, because I'm going to need to get back in that plant. I don't know who I'm going to get to come over, maybe Tom. But they're going to have to push the scale in as I hold the pumpkin and vines up. So we'll just get these leaves out of the way, because then it's even a little breezy. We don't need them to twist and turn the vine and this and that. So we're going to get them out of the way. I cut all the leaves near the pumpkins anyway, Everyone always goes back to this study about, oh, the leaf closest to the pumpkin are what feed it, you know, blah, blah, blah. I believe that comes from a study on apple trees. Now, an apple tree has how many fruit on it? 100? Couple hundred? Well, of course the ones closest to it provide to it. And that might be true here, but we're only growing one fruit. The plant knows where it is, hey, you know? So we'll cut a few off, and guess what? The leaves behind it will feed it. It won't be a problem. Alrighty, enough ranting. We'll get them leaves chopped off, and then we'll get the scale set over. I don't know how far I can reach. Probably not. Probably maybe be able to get the front legs on there, but these boards should be good. Bouncing on her there, so they shouldn't flop up, so should be alright. Alright, fresh haircut, just like me. What do you know? Alright, got a few leaves off, a couple bad old flowers. Now we got some room to work. Yeah, buddy. Alright, scale's over the fence. Now we'll just kind of set her down and get her close. Alright, we got the scale set down with the loader. So what I got there is 2 fence posts, and then a guy in the back. He can lever that up, and then I'll be holding the pumpkin up. And we'll get that on, and that's a 4x4 scale, which that's only really gonna hold about a 1600 pounder. Yeah, I know they use them at weigh-offs for bigger ones, but they're hanging over. So then over there is a 5x5 topper, and you can see on this scale there's an X, and there's an X on that topper, and that's where we're trying to center the pumpkin. So it's about 22 inches to the center of the pumpkin from the front of the board. And the reason why it's not in the center or more in the front, remember, pumpkins grow both forward and backwards. It doesn't know to only grow backwards. The cells expand evenly in all directions. The reason why people think that is because they don't move their pumpkins, and all it's doing is it just pushes really hard on the front of the vine. It'll just push on that vine, and it'll either kind of push itself back or whatnot, but it wants to grow every direction. So anyway, then you say, well, why is that there? Well, I do plan on sliding it back. And it'll be 22 inches right now when it's little, but I'll be able to pick this pumpkin up probably for another 2 weeks yet. Maybe not 2 weeks, but close to 2 weeks. And each time I pick it up, I'll slide it back. So it'll be even further back than that X. It'll be even closer to center. And then if I pull it back once or twice with a strap during the summer, it'll end up being center on center. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. So see if I can get some help to move this scale in. This is the nerve-wracking part. So I don't know if we'll film that. We'll just show you that either we screwed it up or we got it. Hopefully we'll show you that we got it. We succeeded. So we're all good to go. Somehow in the phone it doesn't look centered, but I think it is. I hope it is. Maybe a touch further back than I wanted. We're real close. So the only thing left is this vine here is just hanging in the air. So we're gonna have to kind of watch that as that grows on how we want to get that one down to the ground. Other than that, we're all good. The topper is made out of wood. I don't have the scale plugged in yet, but I think I'll be soaking the scale so the wood's 100% wet. We'll plug it in, and we do not tear the scale. The reason we don't tear the scale is if you tear the scale and the power goes out, which it will because I have to unplug to mow, you'll lose everything. So we'll just plug it in, whatever it reads, we'll write that value down in the notebook, and that value is what we'll subtract from the weight to get our actual weight. And then you have to set up your scale not to auto tear. There's usually a function on a scale where you can have it auto tear. And what that is when you plug in a scale, it just automatically tears and it just goes to 0. Once again, we don't want that. We want no auto tear, and then we don't want a manual tear. That way, whatever the weight is, we unplug it, plug it back in. Everything is always the same, and we can keep the weight going till the end of the year and know what it's weighing, okay? So that's how you do that. Clear as mud, right? Perfect. All right, we got her all plugged in. It's about 90 pounds. The wood on there is still maybe a little dry. So I think we're just going to use 100 pounds as our tear weight. So going forward, we'll just subtract 100 pounds off whatever the scale reads on this one, and should be good to go. So I come out this morning just to check on the vines and whatnot. I think I might put a little bit of water down, but look at this, raccoon prints right on my scale. Luckily, pumpkin was covered with the shirt here. I don't see any damage on the pumpkin. They must have come right up and sniffed it. I sure don't like that. Sure don't like that. It's so, you know, I mean, I know this fence ain't bulletproof, but I see a hole over there where he went out. He had to go out over there. I'm not sure where he come in though. Probably found a way in, but it looks like he ripped a hole out over there. So hopefully he's not coming back, but that's scary. He could have just took a bite of that thing or something. Wouldn't have been good. All right, guys, here's the deal. I got some stakes here, some zip ties. We'll just go around this perimeter. There's a good little spot right there. See that little hole down there? I kind of caught it at the tiller the other day. So we'll just stake each of these areas down in between the posts, get some zip ties on here, try and keep the raccoons out. I'm not going to put any traps because I'm going to need to put, you know, sardines or marshmallows or some kind of thing in there, you know, to catch them. Well, if they can smell that, it's just going to bring them over here. So we'll just try and keep them out here. I might throw a little cayenne pepper around the pumpkin. They probably don't like that. The mice sure don't like it. But we'll just try and keep them out of there, and I think we'll be okay. And this fence isn't meant to, I mean, it is kind of meant to keep stuff out, but it's not, you know, it's not airtight, sealed tight. It'll be a little tighter after today. Usually I never get anything in there. I might get a rabbit somehow sneak in there every once in a while, every other year. But it's the first time I ever had a raccoon. And that's the thing about sealing up the holes. Like, technically the raccoon could technically climb this fence. Put some cayenne pepper around that pumpkin a little bit, just in case he does get back in there. That hopefully he goes, hey, I don't want nothing to do with this. It is kind of a drought out right now, so I don't know if he was trying to look for some water too, but whatever, at least he didn't mess with the pumpkin. So we'll tighten this up a little bit and call it good. All right, I got a little cayenne pepper on the pumpkin. That should, if the raccoon comes back, make him not happy and not want to come back. So we'll go with that and see what happens. All righty, no raccoon tracks this morning. Should be good, unless he's stuck out here. No, I think we're good. Well, them raccoons didn't get in the patch, but he ripped that pumpkin up. This one, yeah, ripped that one out too. This one's still kind of in there. Boy, this one, all the roots are laying there. There ain't, that one probably ain't gonna make it. So this is the area we tried to get away without a fence on. And what do we got over here? This one's not too bad, I don't think. No, it's all, jeez. Half the roots are gone on that one. What's funny though is I didn't add anything at these plants. The fertilizer that's at each plant is at the rest of them. There's nothing special. The whole thing was amended. I didn't add anything specific at each pumpkin, like no fish or anything. Or this one was dug out a little. That one's not bad. That one ain't gonna make it. Oh, them little buggers. I didn't want to put traps out because I'm gonna have to use some kind of bait that's gonna attract them. Might have to trap them. I'm not gonna have any field pumpkins left. They ruined for sure. For sure, one's dead. That one I'm not even gonna replant. That one up there, I'm not even gonna replant. That one's really damaged. This one was slightly damaged, and the other three are good. Good morning. It's day 3 of the raccoon battle, and you'll never believe what them guys did. Look at, like, they completely dug up my 2365. It's gone. They took the whole thing. They must have transplanted it. I don't know what to do, you know. First they're on the scale, next they're doing the field pumpkins. Now they're taking giant pumpkin plants, the best ones out there. It's just, I just don't know what to do. Dang it. Nah, you have to catch next week's video to see what happened with that guy. So with this whole YouTube thing, you just never know what opportunities will arise. I had a company contact me. They wanted me to do some value engineering. You know, they seen the trolling motor used as a tank mixer and my paint cups as measuring cups and using old batteries. And they thought I'd be a really good fit for them. So I don't know. I don't really know anything about their business. They make these little submarines or something. Ocean Gate's the company, but yeah, I mean, I'll see what I can help them design. I think I can help them out.